My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist, and to read all my writing, go to counterpropa.com. My latest article on counterpropa is Why Aren't Feminists Defending Kellyanne Conway's Oval Office Pick? Check it out. If you're a feminist, please give it a chance and check it out. So many people were called sexist, and misogyny and sexism were blamed for Hillary Clinton's loss up until recently, November 8th, 2016, right after I cite one article that talks about sexist Bernie bros causing Democrats to lose. That's one, I believe it was a Democratic consultant. So check out that article below, share it if you agree with it, and in the comment section, tell me I'm crazy if you don't agree. Mediaite, I like George W. Bush now. Or I like George Bush now, former president speaking out against Trump, charms Joy Behar. Yesterday, we got two big interviews from former President George W. Bush. In People, he decried the racism running rampant under Donald Trump. Of course, George W. Bush's father used a Willie Horton ad that is the embodiment of racism. Anyway, and Bush wasn't exactly. Well, we'll get to Bush in a second. He criticized under Donald Trump, and today he criticized on the Today Show. He criticized the current president for disparaging the media. The Bush administration, they were ruthless. Just ask Dan Rather. Dan Rather under Bush Jr. and Sr. got worked by both. That was shocking, certainly, and both interviews took the media world by storm. Joy Behar on The View today, the outspoken liberal, said, neoliberal. Joy Behar is a neoliberal, the epitome of the Democratic Party. A much more charismatic Joan Walsh. I actually like Joy Behar, but the thing about this is that Donald has now done something I thought he would never do. I like the fact that I like George Bush now, is what I'm trying to say. I'm having trouble saying it. Whoopi Goldberg was on hand to say that disagreeing with president is normal, but the things people disagree with Trump about are more serious than the issues people had with other presidents. Like, for example, Clinton and President Obama calling for NATO airstrikes in Libya, implementing regime change in Libya, and then just leaving the country to chaos. Or President Obama deporting 2.5 million people. Or President Obama droning people without trial. Or bombing 7 Muslim countries. The countries on Trump's travel ban. If you bomb them, I tweeted today, Democrat rebuttal to Trump is, why can't you just bomb and drone Muslim countries like normal people? That's the Democratic rebuttal to a lot of what Trump was talking about in terms of the ban. I'm against the ban. But the bigger issue is U.S. foreign policy under both Democrats and Republicans that caused the refugee crisis. And we get to George W. Bush. Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld destroyed the Middle East. They pushed for regime change in Iraq, Afghanistan. The power vacuum from removing Saddam caused endless a quagmire between Shia and Sunni within Iraq. Then that led to a bigger quagmire between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Now we have Libya and, of course, Syria completely destabilized. Because of U.S. foreign policy, we try to bring democracy into the Middle East. George W. Bush responded to 9/11 in the exact way that bin Laden wanted. And he set a course for Obama, 8 years, and now Trump, to deal with the mess. Now we have IS, and we have splinter groups throughout the Middle East. Every major problem in the Middle East that we are almost all of the major problems in the Middle East at this very moment can be traced to George W. Bush's decision to invade Iraq and go into Afghanistan. We're still there. 500,000 people, by one estimate, in Iraq have perished. There are no functioning democracies from the regime changes that we've tried to implement in Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and Democrats want a post-Assad regime, and they have no post-Assad plan. Everything now is Russia's fault. We can go on forever. Democrats now love Cheney, Rumsfeld, and Bush. That should tell you everything you need to know about the Democratic Party. That should tell you that Democrats, and it's not just Joy Behar, that is actually, I've seen Bob Cesca from the Daily Banter tweet out, oh, you Republicans are so great who oppose Trump. They're the establishment Republicans and the establishment Democrats. They are united, really, against progressives. And progressives, in many ways, find more in common with the average Trump voter, at least in terms of an anti-establishment, not in terms of the wall or the ban, but in terms of an anti-establishment, an anti-CIA, NSA, oh, we must believe them because Russia dictated the election or hacked the election. Nothing is Bernie Sanders was cheated. So that's something that everybody, left and right, can rally around. Bernie Sanders, of course, was cheated by the DNC. Now we have President Trump. We could have had a far more progressive presidency. And it's the fault of people like Joy Behar and Michael Moore and Bill Maher. It's the fault of people who are so deathly afraid of breaking away from a failed, flawed paradigm. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.